In this video, guys, I want to share with you 5 tactical tips for trading via or through TradingView. Stick around. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, so 5 tactical tips for trading via TradingView. That was a tongue twister. I don't know why I made that title so hard on myself. I made my life difficult there. But anyway, I want to share with you guys just some ideas to improve your workflow, some little features you might not have known about when you've hooked up TradingView to Pepperstone to trade your CFDs. 5 of them, let's go. All right, so I covered before how to hook up Pepperstone to your TradingView account. Very, very simple. Just put your credentials in. If you haven't got an account set up, you can open up a demo in about 28 seconds, something like that. It's very, very simple, very easy, and there's not loads of forms and stuff. So once you've got that, you hooked it up. Now, if you're playing around with these type of things, I'd suggest going on a demo. You don't want to be in a live account that leaves a rogue order in or something you've forgotten, or you just don't want to do it. You don't want to come back and go, oh, I didn't realize I left that order in. I wasn't familiar with the platform, the functionality. So play around with the demo. This is what it's for. It's what demos are useful for. I don't think they're that great for trading on all the time because you have to have some skin in the game when you're actually executing from a trading perspective. But from a platform understanding and kind of working your way around it, familiarity perspective, demo's perfect. So I've got it hooked up to a demo here. And the first thing I want to cover is knowing what features to suppress. So I covered this briefly before, but I think so important. I want to show you this before we go on to 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what you can do if you're placing an order, and by the way, this is once we're hooked up and logged in, you double check you're on a demo down here, and you double check everything's going fine, and you go, right, I'm done, I'm dusted. I can just minimize that. I want to see my full screen. I want to execute. Okay, so if we are executing a trade, once we've executed the trade, by the way, you can execute through this panel at the top left, which is the, what do they call this? Buy, sell buttons. Very simple, nothing complicated. Or you can open it like the order ticket, if you like, on the right-hand side. It pops it out on the right-hand side, or it shuffles it on the right-hand side, and you can execute from there. I just want to show you something quickly now. If I execute from here and I hit, let's just go sell, right now, make sure I'm on a demo, and I'm short, I can change how this displays or what it displays. And this is super important. I want to explain why in a moment. So if I go to settings, I can change whether I want to see the profit and loss in off or in ticks or in money. Now, the problem you have when you have it in money, guys, and I really recommend this, I can't state this enough, take off any reference to money. As long as you've got your risk capped, you understand how much you're prepared to lose in a trade. So you put your stop in, you say, right, that's my monetary limit. You don't want that constantly in your face, especially for day trading. You know, you're up 50, you're down 100, you're up 500, you're down 500. You don't want that, especially as you start to increase size. Now, if you're trading small, then you might think, well, it's not a problem. I'm not concerned about £2, £5, £10, £50 or whatever. Yes, but it's a bad habit to get into because as you start to scale up your operation, you don't want to see those bigger numbers moving around because they're going to influence your decisions. You want to make your decisions based on the conditions, supply, demand, whatever strategy you're using. So I'd absolutely recommend you suppressing any reference to running unrealized P&L on your platform, which is why it's great that you can kind of minimize the broker section at the bottom there, and you can change this, have it completely off, or you can go up in ticks if you really must. But again, this is a kind of separate topic, but if you anchor what price is doing based on where you got in, that's again a little bit of a trap to fall into. But that's by the by. So that's a good thing. I think you can suppress that. That helps you out loads. You can suppress the buy and sell buttons at the top if you want to. We talked about that before. But this is kind of a nice feature that I wanted to make sure everyone was fully aware of. Okay, so the other thing you can suppress before we go into part 2, which is a nice one really, a very simple one. When you are in the order ticket here, you can show your order price in ticks or not. So what exactly does that mean? So if I put a limit in, I can have it in ticks or not. And what it does is you can see how it suppresses the offset. If I can get back onto limit, it suppresses the offset, which is great. Because what you can also do is you can put your price in, and you can either decide to have it offset a certain amount. I'm going to go into that's actually part 3. I'm going to go into a little more detail, but that's something you can do. If you don't want any clutter, you can get rid of it. And also going back to the point of having P&L on there, in your take profit and your stop loss areas, you've got this percentage in GBP. I don't think anyone wants percentage when they're trading something like the Dow or something like. If you're day trading an index or a forex pair or a commodity, a percentage doesn't mean anything to you, so you can suppress it. You don't need it there. And if you want to suppress as well the kind of the amount you're risking in terms of pounds, you can do that. Then that's probably up to you, because you want to just double check sometimes that you're risking the right amount with the right position size. So I wouldn't mind if that was left open, but just be aware you can tick it on and off as you see fit. All right, so let's close that one off. Let's keep it nice and flat. By the way, I got an alert set up that come through and kind of show you the fill. Okay, so another one you can do, which is if you're a scalper, this is a good one. Let's clear this and let's get a nice fresh screen here. You can use two hotkeys to execute quickly. Perfect for scalpers. If you like scalping, then this might be suitable for you. Now, Pepperstone are more than happy for you to scalp. In fact, the account that you open that links with TradingView is called a Razor account. That's designed specifically for active traders. So scalpers welcome. This might help you. So it's a shortcut to basically buy at the market and sell at the market. And as a scalper, imagine if you're waiting for that, let's say a flush through lows, you're watching and watching and watching, you want to just be in. You know, maybe you don't want to be moving your mouse. I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes you just want to be there with your hotkey primed. You're waiting, and then you pull the trigger. And then often, maybe it snaps back so quick that you want to take that profit. You know, that's what scalping is about. It's making those quick short-term decisions based on that spring stretching, mean reversion type approach. So the way that you do that is very simply holding down Shift and pressing B for buy, holding down Shift and pressing S for sell. You might be saying, well, what does it buy? What does it sell? So what that actually does on TradingView is it executes whatever you've got up in the top left. I don't know why I'm pointing. It's probably that way for you guys, but where my cursor is, that's what it executes. So it's the lot size you've got in there. So let's say you've got half a lot, 1 lot, 10 lots, 50 lots, 1,000 lots. If you're trading 1,000 lots, then it'll execute that, and it will execute it at the market. Now, as you know, if you understand how the pricing works, the market is an indicative price. You will get filled at the current price, the best available price. And sometimes you'll get positive slippage, which means that let's say I hit it now at 99, the market moves lower. By the time Pepperstone get my order, they'll fill me at the lower price. You know, they're not going to mess around and say, oh, you know, we'll fill you at 99. If it moves lower and I hit it, by the time it hits their servers, and they get a market order on their servers and the price is lower, I will just be filled at that. But that goes the other way as well. So if the price moves against me and I hit it at 99, it moves up to 02, say, then a market order basically says, just fill me now, and I'll get filled at 02. So you can get a little bit of slippage, positive and negative, with doing that. So that's what the Shift B and Shift S is doing. It's sending a market order with the size you've specified here in the quantity. So just be aware that what that quantity has is loaded up. So let's say, for example, let's go long. I just go in, Shift buy, and I am now long. Okay, and I can stop in there, and if I want to, I can reverse the position. I can do all sorts of stuff here. So it's very, very simple. And obviously, if you're going short as well, I can Shift S. That just goes short. So I'm now short from that position. So very easy to do, very useful for scalpers. That was hotkeys. That was number 2. Number 3 is use the Ask Offset feature. Touched on this a moment ago. I like this functionality, and this reminds me of kind of some of the deeper functionality that you get at some of the institutional grade platforms, where you can set these offsets based on the current bid and current offer. And the good thing is this updates regularly. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say, for example, I go, all right, let me put 1,000 in here and show you what this kind of does. All right, so what this is doing is this. I've got the buy, and notice you can highlight the buy or sell on this side. I've got the ticket open, I'm linked up to Pepperstone, etc., and I'm on the US 30, which is the Dow Cash Index. So what I can do here is in my limit order section, I can use this offset. And by the way, this is where you have to have your order price and tick set. But now ticks here is, we might think that 100 points lower on the Dow should be 100, but because there's an extra level of granularity and price execution improvement and kind of just better effectiveness, it goes down to 0.1 with Pepperstone. So they just don't quote the whole number, they'll give you the 10th as well. So if you want 100 ticks away from the market, you have to do 1,000 ticks. Well, what I call 100 ticks is 100 points on the Dow, for example. So it's at 32,900, it's going to be 100 points, but it needs to be 1,000 because it's a 10th, because a tick is a 10th in Pepperstone. That's why you use a demo, guys. You just get used to it. Simple once you get used to it. But the functionality, let's talk about functionality. So this is cool. This is really, really good. If, let's say, and this is something that you can put into so many different ways in how to express your trading, or so many kind of trading strategies, and it's a good way of expressing your trading. You might say, right, just look at this now. And by the way, we're just messing around with the demo here. We've got no kind of analysis or anything. But let's just say I'm looking at this now and thinking, it's a bit of a move lower here. We've almost done 150, 200 points lower. I would buy another 100 points lower. And I might want to time that. So I might just go, okay, well, let me just put a limit order in at 32,950. But I also might want to say, hey, when I see this thing accelerate, then I want to put a bid in 100 points under that acceleration. And what this is doing now, this is dynamically adjusting the limit that's going in by offsetting from the ask plus 100 or minus 100. So I am now able to go, in this case, this is going to be the other way around. So I want to make sure I've got the right way around here. So minus 1,000, right? This is going to put me 1,000 ticks, which is really 100 points on the Dow, underneath the current ask. So you can see the current ask is 33,050-ish. It's going to put me at 32,950. So it's 100 points in our language, but 1,000 points in ticks because we're using that 10th increment, don't forget. So why is this any good? Why is this better than the limit? This is better than the limit, I think, because it's adjusting the limit dynamically until you actually trigger the order. This means you can wait for that opportune moment and just get that little bit of price improvement. Now, 100 might be too much. You might be like, okay, I just want to get one little last flurry and I want to make sure that I'm just catching that little sweet spot. So maybe it's 25 points, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 10. The point is you can do that. And you can even say, hey, I want to try and just improve my price by a couple of points, just by adding that limit in. And the beauty of it is if you get used to doing this, then all the market's got to do is rock back a little bit of noise, and it's going to fill you because Pepperstone's going to move it's going to keep their fixed spread and just move their price around. And if that ask or offer goes and hits your limit, you're going to get filled. So it's a very, very nice way of doing things, especially if you're an active trader. It's a good feature. I don't see many kind of platforms doing this apart from, I say, the institutional grade ones and some algos you can customize. So, very, very handy to do it. Let's just see here, example, what would happen. It's basically going to put us a limit order in 100 points or 1,000 ticks if you're looking at the 10th under that low. Put it in, bang, and we've got the limit in there. And now, of course, we can adjust it as we see fit. So I really like that feature, guys. And it's something you can, play around with. And obviously, if you are, going to trade on the short side, it just changes to bid, and it's going to be kind of above the bid. If we put our sell order in here, it's going to be 100 points above the bid, and that's only because I put 100 or 1,000 ticks in. You can adjust it to what you see fit. So I think that's a nice feature. I really like that. Take advantage of that. All right. So number 4 is bracket your orders. So bracketing your orders is very simple, and I think that if you do this as a kind of default position for you, life gets a little bit easier. So what I mean, so let's go back to this thing, and let's go, right, we're going to put in our limit at 100 points lower than the market, 1,000 ticks, gone through that, put our lot size in, fine, take profit, stop loss. Okay, so sometimes we might want to purposely put our kind of orders in and work it out, but something that's handy to do on TradingView is you put your order in. Okay, the order goes in, and they're in there now. Now we can adjust based on what we want to see. So now we go, right, what trade do I want? And let's just say I want to look at this market and go, what, a little flush below here would be good. And, if it went a little bit lower, I'm going to give that kind of that sort of width there. And, maybe we're going to come back to that resistance level there at 33,200. So if you get in the habit of putting like wide brackets in, which a bracket, by the way, is your execution attached to a limit and a stop, which only get triggered if you get filled. So these are kind of in what they dashed or dotted outline there, which basically means they will become live if this parent order gets filled. These are child orders that get active or become active if that parent order gets filled. And then to go one step further, those two child orders then become OCO. So if you get your take profit, the stock will be cancelled. So it's kind of thing you can leave now and walk away. And if you have it in time enforced good till date, and you set the date, then you can just set it and say it's gonna disappear. Or if good till cancelled, you might just walk away, and if it hits that level, you're gonna get filled. You know that then if it's gonna go your way, you're gonna take profit, etc. So it's a really good way. And like I say, you can just adjust things like this. You can bracket your orders and move your orders around. And so that comes me to the fifth point, which is adjusting your orders on the chart, which is this, but a little bit more detailed. Once you add your brackets, here's some functionality that is very, very handy. So let's say you have structured your trade and you have made a good risk reward ratio trade setup, and you think, fine, this is looking great, maybe you give that a little bit more room. You've got it all set up, you've used some of the features on TradingView, another video coming about that to take that into another level completely. You can move these independently, of course, just by highlighting and clicking and saying, yeah, you know what, maybe I want a little flush through the low. Let's say I want, is at 33,000 sitting there, that's a cash level. If we flush through, we might do 100 points lower. Maybe my stop's going to be 100 points under that. And maybe I'm looking for a kind of 300 point push back up. Fine. Now what you can do, let's say that market is creeping. You're like, ooh, it's not going to be a flush if it's 32,900. That's not flush territory. I want to bring it a little bit lower. Let's say it puts a low in and comes down. Let's do some drawing on this. Why not? Where's my pen gone? There it is. Let's say it comes down lower and kind of puts a low in under that low and pushes back up. Now, all of a sudden, that trade's not a flush trade, is it? That wouldn't be a flush trade. You want a bit lower. So what you can do is you can move the whole lot, holding down shift again and dragging the whole lot. So I might then go, okay, actually, I want it at 32,850. And that brings the whole lot. So if I structured the trade in the risk reward that I wanted, and I don't want to adjust any of those, I can hold down shift and move everything. So I can move them independently just by clicking and dragging, or I can just move the whole lot and holding shift and moving, and it will adjust them all in sync. Very nice, very, very cool indeed. All right, guys, let me cancel that. That is 5 tips for you when you're executing via TradingView. Linked up to the Pepperstone platform in this example. Go and check them out. Open up a demo, play around, get used to it. Nice functionality, nice little tips. If you've got any others, stick them in the comments section below. They're always adding stuff with TradingView. Take care, guys. Keep your risk managed. Bye-bye.